Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. So what we're going to start with today is very recently they had the EICMA show. It's the biggest motorcycle show in the world, happens every year in November in Milan. That show is massive, and while we weren't physically there this year, we have been in the past. And quite frankly, last time we were there, we walked around for 3 days. We averaged 23 kilometers of walking every day. And you know what? We still didn't see everything. It is halls and halls and halls of stuff, motorcycling, everything you can think of. And it's utterly amazing.
Well,
you know,
I bet you I know something that you don't know.
Go on then.
This year is the 110th edition. It started out as a bicycle and motor show. I actually did a little bit on the history of the thing. You can look it up on the websites. It's there. And bar the lockdown and the pandemic, it's run consistently for 110 years. So it's universally accepted as the biggest motorcycle show in the world.
Now, two interesting things is after lockdown, we all sort of thought maybe that's going to disappear because everyone was doing everything online. Why set up a big show? And yet here we are 4 years later, we've set up another big show. The other interesting thing is at the time we all thought everything is going completely electric. We're all moving away from internal combustion motors. And yet this year we've had a ton of internal combustion motors released.
There's a lot of development. I spoke to my mate Kyle is across there, and Roger's also over. And I actually asked the question. I said, look, the drive appears to be towards electric. Certainly in South Africa, more and more electric bikes coming through. What's it like? They said, yeah, there is a lot of electric focus, but don't worry, the boys are still concentrating on the internal combustion engine.
Much happiness. Now, what we're going to happen is we're going to start now going through we're going to go through all the, obviously we can't do everything that was at the show. We'll be, well, it'll take us until EICMA next year to finish this. So we're going to highlight.
Because there is a lot.
There is a hell of a lot.
The comment was passed that, they haven't released that much. But when you sit down and get down to the nuts and bolts, it's a lot, especially from some of the big manufacturers who've had releases just recently and now suddenly, hang on, wait a minute, we got more. It's amazing.
And we're just going to glide through some of the major releases, the minor releases going, look, we're going to start on this show now for the first part, before the first ad break. We're going to go through a bit of it. We're going to carry on for the next few episodes of the bike show. You're going to see, we're going to go back to EICMA. We're going to have it's going to be a fun chat about the new models. It could be fun. If you want to cheat, you can go to Glenn's websites, Ride Fast and Dirt and Trail. They've already put it all up there. So
it's not all up, Don. There's too much. We're trying.
Go and look at their websites. But for now, we're going to start with a bike that's actually sort of a big deal for Glenn and I, particularly Glenn. Suzuki has launched, try and remember this name, the DRZ 400. Now, for you in particular, that's a big deal because you used to own the original DRZ. What was it, mid-2000s?
It was my first big dirt bike. There was a racer back in the day. His name was Grey Dick. Yeah. And he'd raced Suzuki at a few of the roofs and things like that. And Suzuki said, well, Glenn, would you like to buy it? I bought that DRZ. I did desert runs on the thing. I rode it for, I must have ridden it for...
You did the roof of Africa on it, I remember
I did,
that.
yeah. And then, but you know what I did? So the DRZ was cool in terms of suspension and all that, but it was heavy and it was underpowered. So the WRs, no, back then it was the YZs. It was that 426 that you just couldn't start unless you know how. That 426 used to just blitz me on the fast stuff, and then I'd managed to overtake everybody on the rocks. So I thought, let me get clever, and I put a big bore kit into the thing. It was never the same ever again. Yeah, it worked, but it wasn't. Leave it alone, guys.
Yeah, leave it alone. But here's the thing about the DRZ: it wasn't the most competitive motorcycle. If you wanted to win races,
but it was reliable.
Yes,
as an anvil. It was unbelievable.
Yes, and it was a bit heavy, but very easy to ride. Electric start, torquey motor,
and fun. And you'd fit the long range tank. So looking at the specs on here, it actually looks fairly similar to what the old model was.
It's the same sort of concept as the old one.
They're not selling it as a dirt bike, Don. They're aiming at the dual purpose market.
Well, the last one had headlights. I think you could actually road legal it. It was road legal.
It was
but
good.
Very capable road legal motorbike.
Yeah.
We've got a few specs here. So they've got a Supermoto and an S model. Supermoto obviously is going to have the 17-inch road wheels, a bit less suspension travel. I don't know how many of those are going to bring into South Africa because, we love them. We think they're cool.
It's a limited market, but they'd be silly not to bring in a couple.
What I will say is when you see somebody in South Africa on a Supermoto, you kind of, as a motorcycle lover, you kind of look at them and you nod. You go, buddy, good job.
You're the man.
You have ultimate respect for somebody like that.
Correct.
That's somebody who knows motorcycles, loves motorcycles.
And I'm going to just say something.
Yeah.
You know the nice thing about getting a Motardi bike direct from the manufacturer, not assembling it yourself.
Yeah.
When you build a dirt bike into a motard, it becomes an impractical thing to ride around the streets and things because they vibrate and all that sort of thing. So it's all about horsepower and wheelies and donuts.
Yeah.
This might just be a lekker bike to ride around on the road.
Yeah.
Who knows? You know?
It could be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think the one we're all looking at is the S. That's the off-road model.
Yeah.
It's got, so a few little things. The motor, it's a 398cc single cylinder.
Yeah.
As we kind of expect, fuel injected. It's got dual spark, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
37.4 horsepower, 36.6 newton meters of torque.
It's not huge, but
not huge.
It sounds like usable power. And knowing Suzuki, that's what they're going to deliver. Yeah.
You think about it, I mean, a 450 motocross bike, full racing bike,
60 odd.
It's 60 odd horsepower.
Yeah.
But every few hours, you kind of have to completely rebuild the thing.
No, you don't. You look after the things. They last forever. Don't talk
They
rubbish.
last mostly forever. But this you just kind of know, it might not be, as you say, not competitive, but it's going to last forever, and I bet it's going to be really easy to ride.
And let's face it, Don. Modern motorbikes are beyond what most people can use them anyway. I mean, 400, lots of poke, lots of power.
I mean, if your name is, for example, Wade Young, then this is probably not the bike for you. But if your name is Glenn Foley, Donovan Ferrari, or Joe Bloggs, I like that's going to be very cool.
And I think if they get the price right, Suzuki, if you get the price right on this bike, and they are famous for that.
Yeah, Suzuki are very famous.
It's going to be a hit.
Prices.
The DRZ is a legend. That's what it is. And it's time that they re-entered the smaller dirt bike fray. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be fun. Yeah. More fun. So it's got an aluminium frame.
Yes.
Which we all kind of know they use. KYB suspension. Now that seems to be the kind of everybody. It's the fashion nowadays.
It's
KYB,
the catchphrase.
And every time you ride a bike with KYB, I mean, I know there's other brands that kind of seem to get more kind of highlighted, but KYB, it's just really good. It's really easy plush suspension.
The beauty of it is you can adjust it so easily, and it's a suspension that you don't need to throw a lot of money at to make it work.
Well, you look at the travel. I mean, the front has 280 millimeters, which is a lot, and the rear has 296, which is a lot. The fuel tank is 8.7 liters, so it's a bit of a problem if you're going to do the longer rides.
I'll wager there'll be a long-range tank. We got long-range tanks. For sure.
And it's going to be available in no price yet confirmed, but the third quarter in South Africa. So between June and October, I think it is.
And hey, I tell you what, I look forward to that. It sounds like an unassuming, fun motorcycle to ride. And if you look at the old, I'm going to go back to the old DRZ 400. That's the same engine that powered the LTZ 400 for so many years, that LTZ quad. It's a great motor. Reliable as an anvil, lots of power. This has all been updated, all new components. Suzuki doesn't sleep. I think it's going to be a wonderful bike.
It's going to be good fun.
Yeah, let's see.
We're going to stick with Suzuki for a minute. Just a quick one. So there's no other great new models. They have done a special model for the GSX 8S, which is that parallel twin 800cc naked bike. It's called the Team Suzuki Edition. And it just looks much cooler. It just looks way cooler. It's got a sticker kit. It's called the Hamamatsu Street Fighter. Hamamatsu is where the factory is. Single seat cover. A cover protects the TFT dash. And there's lower engine guards. And it's a cooler 8S. Why
Small
not?
updates, make it look like a little proper Street Fighter.
I don't know if we're going to see it here. Maybe they'll bring in a few.
I know the guys at Zook. I bet you they'll bring in one or two, even if it's just for a showpiece.
And if you buy them, we're going to be very jealous of you.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're going to move on to another manufacturer. Now, a few manufacturers did some big launches. This one did not. BMW.
Yeah.
Now, they've launched a lot already. Then 800, 900, 1300 GS, new M1000R,
You're right.
S1000R.
If you think about it, this has been a big year for BMW.
They've already launched a lot. So they've kind of taken a bit of a sabbatical for next year. In fact, they're not launching any motorcycles. They're only launching a concept.
Yeah.
It's the 450 GS. Now, you know they've got the 310 GS, single cylinder. It's made by the TVS factory in India. This apparently is not. It's going to be made in the actual BMW factory in Germany, wherever they make it, Munich or whatever. And it looks kind of interesting.
And big news, parallel twin engine. So they're moving away from the single, parallel twin.
Well, I don't know. They probably will keep the 310 GS. I can't see them getting rid of it, especially as they have a whole production line for it in India. Yeah. But this is probably going to be a step up. It's a parallel twin, 125-degree crank, so it's going to have that sort of pulsating feeling. They claim weight is 178 kilograms, and Really, that's just about it.
And they've styled it like the 1300, so it's got the same cross headlamp and that. It looks very nice. Let's hope that BMW South Africa brings it in and keeps us up to date on what they're up to.
Let's hope they actually launch it first and then they bring it in.
Yeah, and then let's hope we get a ride. Won't that be awesome?
That would be amazing.
Yeah, amazing.